Hi, Cooper Clever 1972 here. Of course, you know me as Brian. So today, you may have noticed if that I did a stream, and I didn't like how it worked itself out because, like, when I talk about things, I guess I like to show pictures while you're looking. So you can't really do that on a stream. And I said in the stream that I would do a recorded version, that I would take that version, put music with it, my music that I make, and clips, like photos, which I did for this version you're going to see here. But anyways, so, after I done the stream and then I brought the stream into my computer, I realized that it's taking more time. It's like doing more work. It's very time consuming editing this video, to put the pictures in and the music. It took, I don't know, 5.5 hours or something. 5 hours. So I think a better use of my time would be to record it, edit it, and then put it on YouTube, and maybe schedule it for every Sunday. Because the original title's the Sunday Cinema Stream, but I think I'm going to change that. I'm going to change it to a premiere every Sunday, and it's going to be called the Sunday Cinema Sensation. And I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do it every Sunday, but I'm thinking like something like I will record 4 of them, edit them, and then they'll come out one Sunday right after the other for like a month or something. So I'm gonna try that. So I'm just playing it by ear and trying to figure out the best way to do this. So yeah, there'll be forgotten cinema, films you've never heard of, or films that are underrated, that sort of went under the radar kind of things. That's what it's going to be. And I also plan to do like a favorite films kind of thing, music montage, like you'll see in the stream. I said, like, I have 60 favorite films or something. I don't like ranking stuff. I have a top 10, but I really have like 60 favorite films, and none is better than the other. I don't know if it's 60, it's 50, 40, 60. I don't know, but all right. Anyways, enjoy the pre-recorded stream, and in the future it will be premieres, because it just works better that way for me. All right, thanks for watching, and enjoy the stream. Hi, Cooper Clever 1972 here. Of course, you know me as Brian. So I just wanted to check YouTube to see if the stream was going, and it is going. So I'm let me see. Okay, yeah, on the side here, there's a comment thing. So I think, like, if you leave a comment on YouTube, I will see it, because I don't have the YouTube page open. I'm on StreamYard. So, a while back I was doing guitar playing streams, but my neighbors complained about the loudness of the sound. I think what happened was when I got a new wah pedal, and then I got my own first delay pedal, they boosted the sound of the amp. So what was a 4 or 5 sound, maybe it sounded more like an 8 or a 9 or something. So I can't do those anymore. So what I did in the past, just a few videos, I did makings of songs. I've only done 2 of those. The first one was a song More Than Any Other, I Love You. That's like a 22-minute song. So that video for the making of it was about 2 hours and 10 minutes. And then I did my second one, which was Street Punk, which is like a 4.5-minute song. And that video, the making of it, was about 50 minutes. and I like to do more of those, but I just haven't. You know, they're kind of a process because you gotta go to GarageBand, take the track off, you know, each individual track, like take delete all the other tracks, save it under a different file name, put it in music, and then you have to take all those tracks, the individual tracks, the guitar track, the drum track, the bass track, and you have to put it in iMovie. And then like if you want to show like a layer, then you have to do. It's a lot of work because if you show like a vocal layer, like More Than Any Other I Love You song, you have to show, like one vocal layer and then two, and then you should show it together, and it's a process. So I hope at some point, I hope somewhat soon, I'll do another one of those videos. But it's a lot of work. And there was something else I was going to say before starting this off. Oh, I would say there's more music coming. Maybe I don't know. I mean, I made a song yesterday. I did fairly quickly. It was a song about David Lynch. The original title was "The Creature Behind Winky's Diner," a tribute to David Lynch. And I tried showing the clip from Mulholland Drive where this character says, "I have this god-awful feeling." He's the one who's doing it. I tried putting that clip on YouTube, but they said it. They blocked it because of copyright rules. So I had to chop that off, and I couldn't include it. My recent Blu-ray pickups video was the same case. I tried to show a clip from M and the Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant at the start and end of the video, and I ran into that problem again. So I had to cut those out as well. I should have, maybe I should have poured some tea or something. Yeah, I'll pour some tea for myself so I don't get too hoarse here speaking, because I plan on speaking for a little while. Well, instead of tea, I'll have my fruit punch here. When I do the recorded video, maybe this part like here, right, like this part. What I'll do is I'll edit this out. So the live stream will have this obviously, but the edited stream, I'll just chop that out. I think I know how to, after the stream ends, how to chop it up. I mean, to record it onto my hard drive and then, go from there. Anyways, there's something else I was going to say. There's another thing about YouTube. I don't know. Maybe I'll say when I remember. I plan on doing our favorites movies music video, which will have my music and like just pictures from movies, from favorite movies of mine. I do have a top 10 list, but they could be replaced by other films by those directors in the top 10. And then I have other favorite films that are just as good by other directors. So really I have, and some of these ones I'm going to show 10 foreign films you might have missed. I'm trying to be sort of not too picky. I mean, I like these films a lot, but I don't like this ranking kind of a thing. I'm not into that. I mean, I do have a top 10, but I don't know. I basically have like 60 favorite films. I don't know the exact number. I have to write them on my computer, and then I could get a better handle on how many of them of my favorite films I have. I see there's two people here. Maybe one of them is me. Anyways, so I'm going to show you 10 foreign films. Um, so, I think this is June 1st. Yeah, June 1st. I guess this is Gay Pride Month. So in honor of that, I've got Persona by Ingmar Bergman behind me. Really good movie. That's one of my favorite films, but I'm not including it in this stream here. But, I was looking for pictures to put behind me because otherwise you just see my kitchen, and I thought that'd be kind of a boring look behind me. So I was going to put like Blade Runner behind me because that's one of my favorite movies, but I was just, looking at the pictures that I could put behind me, and I thought Persona, that fits in well. So anyways, let me just duck for a second so you can see the picture from the movie. So that's the picture from the movie right there, Persona. That's, hi, Paulson and guitars. That's Lee Volman right there, and then Bibi Andersson right there. Bibi Andersson passed away fairly recently, maybe a year or so, or a few years ago. I think she was in her 80s. And then Lee Volman is, she's at least in her 70s. Maybe she's just in her 80s now. My favorite Ingmar Bergman film is The Shame. But, I like a lot of other films that he's done, like Cries and Whispers, Persona, like you see there, Virgin Spring, Seventh Seal, I guess Wild Strawberries. So yeah, those are some of my favorite Bergman movies. Oh, Summer with Monica, that's another one. Okay, and I don't know if I want to make this stream too long, but so I like to start these streams on hopefully a Sunday. So I call it the Sunday cinema stream, and then it has alliteration there because you got the Sunday, the cinema, and the stream, so it has a nice ring to it. This idea of a forgotten cinema was sort of propelled by. I used to go to the Jacob Burns Film Center in Pleasantville, New York, and when I did go there, my friends and I, one of the events we would go to would be on a Saturday. It would be called Rarely Seen Cinema, and the curator, the programmer for the films, was a director named Jonathan Demme, who's been passed away for a few years now. He was the director of Sansom Lambs. He directed many other films, Something Wild, Stop Making Sense, a documentary about the Talking Heads. I think it's Caged Heat. He knows it was his first one. Melvin and Howard, I think, is another one he directed. Rachel Getting Married. There's a documentary he did that he showed at the Burns. I'm Somebody. It's a documentary about a woman that lives in the flooded area of New Orleans, and he's done a few documentaries of Neil Young, and and he did, I think, the remake of Manchurian Candidate. The original was directed by John Frankenheimer. I've been seeing a few Frankenheimer films, and he did what's another film? Beloved with Oprah Winfrey and Danny Glover. So, anyways, let's get to the films. I'm going to show 10 films. The first one up is, of course, choosing this graphic. Maybe is not good for showing these movies. As you can see, there's bleeding through here. I had the light on in the kitchen because I think it gives a better. It looks better, because I would just melt into the background. I don't know how to do this. But this is I think these all are Criterions, which I'm a big collector of. This one I accidentally tore the Blu-ray case. I did that with Casino too. I thought it was wrapping, but it turned out it was the cover over the case. So I had to put in a DVD case and slip this in. I thought this would be a good film to start off with because it's It's about this woman named Petra von Kant. She's a fashion um, she's a fashion designer. Um, she's in her 40s, and um, she at the start of the film, she has a secretary who does stuff for her. The whole film takes place in one bedroom. I think it was a play before it was a movie. But it keeps your interest um, for the whole movie. I think the film is maybe an hour and a half. Oh no, it's longer. It's 2 hours and 5 minutes. But it keeps you interested all the way through. There's a little. I think Fassbinder likes to use popular music, like pop music, rock music, and then contrast. And then he also puts in classical music. So his films are usually depressing. Basically, all of them are, which is one of the reasons I think I like it. Because I do like films that have unhappy endings. I like films that have happy endings. Don't get me wrong. And one of those films will be in here, this list, at least. I think just one, maybe, or I don't know, at least one of them. And of course, with Fassbinder, he basically doesn't have happy endings. Only one movie he made, a miniseries for German television, 8 Hours Don't Make a Day. That the funders of that movie would only allow him more money for the film if he agreed to have a happy ending. And that's not a bad movie. I haven't watched it in a while, but it was good. I've watched this multiple times. I've watched a few other Fassbinders multiple times, like World on a Wire and Beware of a Holy Whore, which is sort of a film about boredom, not just about filmmaking, but boredom. I think it's one of the best films about boredom. Also, let me get back to this. So, Petra von Kant, she sees her friend at the start of the movie, and her friend is talking about this woman named Karen. So she meets Karen, and they have a brief affair, and they get in an argument, so this is because it's gay Pride Month. I thought this would be the first one to start off this set of 10 films, and so she basically falls in love with Karen, who's like in her 20s. Petra von Kant is played by Margita Carlson or something like that. The secretary is played by Herman. She died recently in her 80s. I think the Petra von Kant woman is dead too, if I'm not mistaken. She'd be pretty old by now. This is 72 when this was made. Hanna Schygulla, who plays Karen, is alive today, maybe in her 60s or 70s. She was like in her 20s, I think, when she made this. But they get in an argument, and then the rest of the movie is basically Petra von Kant obsessed with wanting Karen back. And she sees her daughter and her mother. She basically goes crazy, basically. So it's a really good movie. I think I said enough about that, so let's move on to the next movie. This is by Antonioni. I would say, technically I have 3 favorites of Antonioni. L'Avventura is one of them. I think that sort of brought him to the world stage, because it won the special jury prize at Cannes, and also his first English film was Blow Up, with David Hemmings, who was in Dario Argento's. I have the movie, something Red. I can't remember what's the name of that movie. Oh man, when I'm planning on putting a recorded version of this on my channel, and maybe putting some pictures and music in. So maybe I'll just insert it when I put an iMovie of the film I'm trying to think of. The Dario Argento film that David Hemmings was in. And if I remember later on the stream, I'll mention it. But anyways, the film he made after L'Avventura, he had a trilogy of films. The connection, the stories are different, the characters are different, but in all 3 you have Monica Vitti, who was Antonioni's muse, sort of like Bergman's muse was Lee Ullman, and I think before that it was Bibi Andersson. I mean, I think Bergman was married 4 times. Once to Lee Ullman. I think Lee Ullman, they were married. Bibi Andersson, Harriet Andersson, I think, and I think there was no connection between them, Harriet Andersson and Bibi Andersson. And maybe he was married to Ingrid Thulin, who does a really good performance in Cries and Whispers. So this is La Notte, then the second in the series. After this would come Light Clips, and but this is the second, and it's about a married couple, a middle-aged married couple, and they are sort of disenchanted with each other, and they sort of know each other, what each other thinks. It's kind of an interesting scene at the start of the movie where Marcello Mastroianni, he was in one of my favorite films of all time, which is La Dolce Vita by Fellini. An 8.5 would be like a close second. I guess I like La Dolce Vita just slightly more because it has an unhappy ending. But 8.5 is a great movie too. Anyways, La Notte has Marcello Mastroianni, and at the start of the movie, he's come into this hospital to visit his friend who's dying. But when the film starts off, he's on his way there in the hallway, and this, I guess she's kind of a nymphomaniac patient, comes out of her room and starts trying to make out with him, trying to kiss him, and they go into her hospital room, and then the nurses come in, they start swatting her. They might put an injection in her arm, and then he goes to see his friend, and it seems like the wife is played by Jeanne Moreau, and she seems to be more caring about the person they're visiting. He's caring too, but she seems to be like more mature. And a film that reminds me of this film, an American movie, would be Ang Lee's of the Ice Storm. Because at the end of the movie, I think the end of both movies, it's like a party, and it rains in the ice storm. Of course, it's during the winter in that particular case. And there's, I don't want to spoil the Ice Storm. It's a really good movie. But anyways, at the end of the movie, you see Monica Vitti make an appearance. But fidelity is like one of the big problems, I think, with men in Antonioni films. I would say so in all 3 of these particular movies. Women are mature. You also find that in Bergman. You find this in Bergman and Antonioni films. As far as male directors go, that they don't like Fellini sort of treats them as like objects, and like sexual goddesses, and Bergman and Antonioni sort of understand the psychology better of women, because I think they're more respectful, or like more mature. They show the maturity of women, the more realistic depiction. And anyways, so at the end of the movie, well, I don't want to reveal too much, but how can I put a cap on this one? So they're at a party. It starts raining, and Marcello Mastroianni meets. He's a writer. Marcello Mastroianni, maybe a novelist. He meets Monica Vitti, and Jeanne Moreau meets another man, and Jeanne Moreau goes in this car with this guy. But I guess I'll leave it at the fact that we don't know how exactly the story is going to end. Like, are they going to stick together, or are they going to go their separate ways? I'll leave it at that. So it means the night in Italian, La Notte. Next up is a film by Buñuel. I have a few favorite Buñuel films, but this is one of my favorites. Belle de Jour is another one with Catherine Deneuve. I thought with Belle de Jour, it might be. I mean, some people watching this might not know all these foreign films, but possibly if they know foreign films a little, they know probably Belle de Jour a little bit more than say or Ancien Andalou with the cutting of the woman's eyeball. So I think maybe this one's a little lesser known. It's a film Buñuel made in Spain, and Franco was still in power. It's a film called Viridiana with Sylvia Pinel. I think she's Mexican. She passed away fairly recently. She's becoming a nun, and her uncle wants her to come to his house, house, his farm, before she takes her vows. So she does, and he drugs her, puts her in his aunt's in her aunt's wedding dress, and there's just suggestion. You don't know what happened with her when she was drugged. But shortly after this, I think that night, and the uncle played by Fernando Rey, who's one of the regulars of Buñuel's films. He hangs himself, so he leaves the ranch, the farm, to Viridiana, and because she's a nun and she like believes in the goodness of people, she makes it like a word starts with a C. It's a commune kind of a thing, because there's like peasants and workers, farmers that work on the land and did work for the Fernando Rey character. But they sort of take advantage of her. There's an interesting shot where there's this dog tied to this wagon, so the dog has to keep moving, because the rope it's attached to is pulling on it. Maybe that's a little cruel. But, I just thought that'd be an interesting tidbit to share. Her cousin comes, and oh hey David. Anyways, her cousin comes, and they go to, I think, settle the will or something, and the peasants, they come into the mansion, and they just go to town. They basically kind of vandalize the place, and they're eating at this table, and this woman pretends to take a photograph of them, and it's of the Last Supper. Oh hey Epiphanium. Buñuel was an atheist, but I think he basically saw a humorous edge to it, and he was friends with lots of priests. So I don't think he was like a militant kind of an atheist or whatever. But he's like in the same league as, I think David Lynch was influenced by Buñuel, because both directors do like dreamlike kind of scenarios in their films that don't make total rational sense, but in a dream they do. When you see Christopher Nolan's Inception, the characters in that movie are trying to explain dreams. Like they're saying, well, in this dream, the time span is a half an hour, but when you go into the next dream, that time span is a day, and then if you go into the next dream, it's a month, and the next dream is a year. It's a little bit too logical, and dreams aren't logical, And another director that sort of followed the dream kind of narrative or atmosphere was what's his name? Alejandro Jodorowsky. I have a bunch of his films. I've only watched 2 of them, I believe. Fondo Elise, brother and sister, going on a trip, and the Holy Mountain, which is kind of a crazy movie. It doesn't make any sense. It's kind of weird. He made another film called El Topo, which was produced by John Lennon. Um, and Jodorowsky's in both Holy Mountain and El Topo. Um, and they did another film called Santa Sangre, which I haven't seen, but I hear is really good. So I guess that's enough talking about this one. We'll move on to the next one. Um, Now, this was not a foreign director; he's an American director, but the whole almost the whole film is in Spanish. It's a little English. Steven Soderbergh's Che. I believe this was the first film shot on a red video camera. Um, it's in two parts. The first part takes place in Mexico. I think it's Mexico and Cuba. Um, and in that part, he's in Mexico. They're planning the takeover of Cuba, so he's with Castro. And then you see the actual fight in Cuba. And then the second part is when Che goes into exile or whatever, goes someplace else to spread communism in Bolivia. They shot the second part first in Bolivia. I don't know if it was Bolivia they shot it in, but oh, hey pal, hi, how are you doing? So the second part's in Bolivia, the first part's Cuba and Mexico. So they shot the first part in Bolivia, and because I think it was one of the first films shot on a red camera. I'm pretty sure, or at least one of the first. Soderbergh had to put the cameras like in ice suitcases with like ice in them to make sure they didn't overheat or whatever. So I think the color palette, the saturation of the colors and everything looks quite different in each part. So, but this is a good movie. I think Benicio del Toro does an excellent performance. I think I heard the real Che was kind of a dick. Maybe this sort of glamorizes Che Guevara, but I'm not really judging the film based on the real Che Guevara. I'm judging it on just as a film. It's really entertaining. The only English you hear is when I think he's at the UN, and that part's in black and white. The rest is in color, and she's asking him questions in English, and I think he's speaking Spanish through an interpreter. So really good film. I'll move on to the next one. This next one, I did say, I like depressing films a lot, but I also like some happy films with happy endings. This film was in between two really depressing movies that Vittorio De Sica made. The first one was Bicycle Thieves, excellent film, one of the great neorealist films. And then he made another film after the film I'm going to mention here called Umberto D, about a bachelor who lives with his toy dog, and the landlord wants to kick him out because she wants to do remodeling of the apartment building that he's in. But he made this film in between those two films, and it's a more happy kind of a film. And like the critics got like really mad at him because they thought, he's kind of, he's not keeping up with his kind of who he is as a director. Also, like it's also said the guy who I guess he wrote the novel and the screenplay, Cesar Zavattini. I think that's the guy I'm trying to think of. But the screenwriter for all three of these films, like I think it says in this video, this Blu-ray, that he's really responsible for the ideas of the Bicycle Thieves, Umberto D, and in this film, Miracle Milan. Anyways, whatever the case may be, Miracle Milan is about these poor people. They sort of live on, they're squatting on land. These business people, landowners, they want to kick them off the land and like make buildings there. So I guess it's a depressing subject, but they sort of treat it like it's, happy. And it's just a delight to watch. The end maybe it's kind of crazy. It's, out of left field maybe, but I like the ending. I don't want to spoil the ending, so I think I'll keep that secret. But I like this movie, and this is an Italian movie. So yeah, it. Oh, at the start of the movie, there's a kid that is either his mother dies or abandons him, and so he grows up as an orphan on this land that's like it's like a junkyard, and people are squatting on it, and they want to develop the land. Um, and I, but yeah, the ending is kind of crazy, happy, but I like it. Okay, next film is a Russian movie. It's by Andrei Tarkovsky. Um, and I guess that you could apply the dream logic to this film as well. This is Mir. Um, Sort of like Tarkovsky's childhood. His father fought in World War II. I think his father lost a leg in the war. There's some footage from World War II of these Russians going across this muddy landscape, carrying a cannon. I think there's some footage in Spain, I think it is. But yeah, it's poetic. It's sort of like he's remembering stuff. How do I recall this film? It's about his mother. I don't know if I'm doing a good job here. I wrote a review of this on Letterboxd. Oh, hey, Stephen. I wrote a review of this on Letterboxd, and I'm thinking of doing. Oh, I think I know what I was going to say earlier. I'm thinking of doing. I've written these reviews on Letterboxd. What I thought of doing is recording those reviews with my voice on iMovie and then putting still pictures in the review. And one of them would be this film, Mir. So yeah, he does things in slow motion in this film. Some of the slow motion is really beautiful images. Like there's an image of the ceiling breaking open. There's a woman hanging her hair down over her face. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But it's like about mother and a son and I guess a father too. I'm not doing a good job describing this one. I should have. And I've seen this fairly recently. My memory's kind of shot on some of these things, but some cinema I can remember fairly well. I say, like Beware, Bitter Tears of Petra and Kant, for example, the first one I mentioned. So like that. Oh, hey, Mike. Okay, so let's move on. We got 4 more movies to go. These next 2 are by the same director. This one might have hope to it at the end as well. They're Japanese films. They're by a director named Kan Ichikawa. These films are coming. All these films are Criterion's, and these films that I'm showing in this top 10 here. Well, it's not a top 10. It's just films I like. So I don't like ranking too much, but this film sort of has a happy ending in a way. It's called The Burmese Harp. This soldier gets stranded from his group. Oh, I know what the higher up, the general, whatever, tells this soldier here to investigate a cave, and there's like an explosion. He gets caught in the cave and he gets injured, and this Buddhist monk nurses him back to health, and then he basically becomes a monk. He becomes a Buddhist monk. And one of the hallmarks about him is that he plays music. He plays a harp, which he plays at the start of the movie. So when they see him as a monk, when his fellow soldiers see him as a monk, they know it's him. They go to a prisoner of war camp, and then they're let out of the prisoner of war camp, and it's interesting how the film ends. I don't want to spoil the film again, but we see what happens to this guy. Really beautiful film. It's kind of bittersweet. So yeah, Burmese Harp. Second film I'm going to show about Kant Ichikawa is a little more depressing. Fires on the Plain. It's another World War II movie. I think both these. Well, the Burmese Harp I think takes place in Burma / Myanmar. I think it's known as Myanmar today. This one takes place, I don't know, somewhere like Guadalcanal or somewhere like that in the Pacific. I don't know exactly where. The main soldier, I think, is an American playing a Japanese person. When he's told he has tuberculosis by the doctor, they say just go and fight, because that was the thing, you don't give up, and that was the Japanese thing. Oh, hey Bridget. Anyways, he's and then when he's told to go back to his unit, they say, like, I think, go back. Oh, hey Ryan. They tell him to go back to fighting, and anyways, there's real depressing scenes in this film. Like, they have to resort to cannibalism. There's a scene where I think a whole bunch of them get blown away by an explosion. So it's a really depressing film. But as I said earlier in the stream, I like depressing films a lot. I do like happy ending films a lot. I just mentioned a little further back in the stream, Miracle in Milan, which is a little more happy. But yeah, this is pretty depressing at the end. I think, like, he loses his boots. Not a happy film, but a really good film. Then we're moving on to the 9th film, so we got 2 more films to go. This film, I think, without this film, you wouldn't have Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. There's a few other films by this director that I could have shown in this video. I mean, I've doubled up on Kant Ichikawa, so maybe I'll show in a future video some of this other director's works. I think I could recommend both. The other 2 films that I have of his, I think I only have 2 other ones. Anyways, the director's King Hu, and this is Touch of Zen. It's like a kung fu movie, and it's like 5 movies in one, sort of. It's like a nature documentary, a period film set in the ancient Chinese times, a kung fu movie, a Buddhist film, and it's like 3 hours long. But I don't think it really drags at all. And at the end of the movie, towards the end of the movie, that they're like going high up into the sky on along these bamboo trees. And if you recall, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, there's that same kind of thing going on, where they're flying up in the sky. I think this was the influence for that. Oh, hey, Heathrow. So yeah, I think this was the influence for Crouching Tiger. I think if this film had been made, maybe some others too. I don't know if Crouching Tiger would have the same kind of story to it. And for the going up high in the trees, they had trampolines. They got them high up in the sky. So it's a very impressive film, and the ending is kind of cool. I don't want to spoil it. It's like a 3-hour movie, but I don't think it drags. So, and then the last one, I say forgotten cinema, and this one really isn't forgotten. But I was trying to think of one more movie I could add. Maybe I should have added a film that was less known. I love this film. It's become one of my favorites. It's a new film. I met this director of the Jacob Burns film. Jacob Burns Film Center in Pleasantville, New York. He signed the host DVD. And I saw Snowpiercer there. And when he signed the DVD, he showed, I think his mother, the film they made. I've seen another film of his called Memories of Murder. Um, I got Okja. I haven't watched that one yet. And then there's Mickey 17 to watch. Um, but yeah, he's a great director. But I love this film. It's Parasite. It won awards all over the world. It won the Palme d'Or, I believe. It won the Best Picture Oscar. I think it was the very first film in another language to win Best Picture. Okay. Well, take care of yourself, Bridget. Do what you gotta do. Just rest and take it easy. Parasite, it won awards all over the place. Oh, it was the first film to win Best Picture spoken in another language. So this is a South Korean movie. And I think it says in the special features that, let me grab a drink here. I think it says in the special features that, I think it's this one. South Korea, now I thought, South Korea was like a democracy like ours in the, like in the 70s and 80s. I thought Taiwan was like that too, but it turns out they were kind of repressive governments. I mean, that's why I think a film I watched fairly recently from the Martin Scorsese World Cinema Project, the first box set, there's a South Korean movie called The Housemaid. Very good. But it was made like in a repressive government. And I think Scorsese said like he likes a lot of that guy's films. I don't remember the director's name. Anyways, Parasite. It's sort of like there's other films that handle the poor versus rich scenario. Like another one that's sort of contemporary today is Triangle of Sadness. That movie, I like the second and the third part of the film. The first part is I didn't think was needed. Anyways, it really shows the division between poor and rich in this movie, and also there's like something that comes out of left field while you're watching the movie that you don't expect to happen. Yeah, it's really good. Great cinematography, great production design. The making stuff of the movie is fantastic in this. You know how they did the sets, like flooding a whole street, and it's beautiful. And the way it ends, and the hidden surprise. Maybe some of you have seen this. I don't know. Maybe Ryan has seen this because. I think the only person that's on here that's I know from the film YouTube world, well, Ryan. The other people on here are music related. I don't know. Anyway, I'm digressing. The point is, something comes out of left field, maybe, I don't know, half the way in, or maybe 3/4 of the way in. And just spins the film in another direction. It sort of has a dark humor to it. But yeah, it's a great film. Also has a black and white version on this film. I've seen this quite a few times. I love this film to death. This is like one of my new favorite films. Anyways, that ends the stream. So I'll give a recap. Just quickly here, Parasite by Bong Joon-ho. King Hu's Touch of Zen. And then 2 films by Kant Ichikawa. The first is Fires on the Plain. The second one is Burmese Harp. Next up is Mir. I sort of gave a bad setup on Mir, but maybe, I said that earlier in the video. I said I did reviews on Letterboxd, so what I might do is take those reviews, read them on iMovie out loud, and then put pictures with them. So I might sound more articulate on this film. Oh, I think I do. on the letterboxed essay, or whatever you want to say, review. You got Mirrors by Andrei Tarkovsky, Miracle Milan by Vittorio De Sica. Che, it's in Spanish, even though it is an American, directed by Steven Soderbergh. It's like, I think it's 2 hours. No, it's over 3 hours. Maybe 3 hours and a half. I don't know. I think it's at least 3 hours, Che, but it doesn't. Just like Touch of Zen, it doesn't bore you. Viridiana by Buñuel. La Notte by Antonioni. And the last one, and sort of in theme with Pride Month, Bitter Tears of Petra von Kant by Fassbender. And then, of course, my homage or whatever to Pride Month behind me, Persona of Ingmar Bergman. So yeah, they're all in Criterion Throw, and Barnes & Noble has a Criterion sale in July and November. I would say they're going to have it like usual. And then Criterion's website has a 50% off sale twice a year. The first one, they don't announce it, it's only for 24 hours. Basically on a Tuesday, it starts at noon. And like you get a notice on email. And they don't announce. You sort of can find leaks of when they're going to have the flash sale on Reddit. It's been in February, but now it's been in March, and then usually in October is the second one. Criterion does have other sales during the year, but they're more like 30% off, 20% off. I don't know if those are great deals. Anyways, all right. I think I'm gonna end the stream. I didn't want to go on too long. And I think I'm going to do I'm going to put this into recorded video possibly as well. Put some pictures up and some music. So anyways, thanks for watching. Oh, and I'll say goodbye to everybody. Paws and Guitars, Dynamite Throw, Bridget Benatti. If I butcher your name, I'm sorry. Live to Fly Channel David, Ryan Chataway, Film Talks and Vlogs. Bodie's Jam Cave, Mike, Live to Fly Channel David, Stephen Ewert, Hal, Epiphonium. Okay, yeah, I covered everybody. And any lurkers, thanks for watching. And maybe I'll try to make this a Sunday thing. I used to play guitar on Sundays, but my neighbors complained because I mentioned earlier on the stream that I played it at like a 4 or 5 volume level. I guess it didn't bother anybody then. But then I bought a new wah pedal. I bought a delay pedal. And I think they're pretty powerful. And they boosted the volume. Maybe it took it to like an 8 or 9, even though it's on a 4. So I've had to do the music now through my headphones. So I guess I don't think I can really do feedback on my work because of that situation. But whatever, I try to adapt. So, all right, thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon. Bye now.